Allison. Let's see. SLC, Luca, Prosser. Still waiting on Zach and Mally, and I think that's it. How's it going? How was your weekend? Good. Roger's thinking. We went to the mountains and it was nice, but that's too long of a drive to go on the weekend. I was tired when we got home. Baby Holmes, your weekend was terrible. Is that why you got your hoodie on today? You think Miss Warren would remember to record at the start of class by now? Roger, you better be glad that there's a computer between me and you right now. There's a lot of things that I say that about you. You would think Roger would know how to do this right now, but I don't say it out loud, do I? And I do not. I do not type in the chat. I don't say it out loud. All right, go to Google Classroom. I'll wait a few more minutes before I go there and share my screen on these people to come in. See if they're going to show up. Well, that's good. Roger, you had a birthday party. I got a lot of stuff out there in Google Classroom this morning, so read everything. And then we'll go over it, and you've got 2 warm-ups out there. And don't forget, when you put your information in your keyboarding tracker, you need to put it on quarter 2, so don't forget to do that. Deer season, huh? Interesting. Nobody's emailing me that they can't get in, so I don't know where these people are today. All right, you got 1 minute, number 27, and 1 minute Spanish words. There's Mally. Hey, Mally. They're doing their warm-up. There's a lot of stuff to read in Google Classroom, so read all that on the stream, and then you got 2 warm-ups. Roger, in class today, we are going to work on our spreadsheet shopping spree review. I'm going to go over with you guys pretty much like the first half of that with the formulas, just to make sure y'all are on the right track, and then I'm going to let y'all finish at the end of it today. Hopefully. That's our goal. So once you finish with the warm-up, make sure you put it in your keyboarding tracker on quarter 2, which is your sheet 2, and then you can go ahead and open up your instructions and the Google Sheet for the shopping spree. Hey, 7th graders, has Miss Rusha told you about her book yet that she wrote? she wrote a book, and it's on Amazon, and it's like a choose your own adventure book. And she had, I don't know if y'all know Jacob Fowler, but he's in the 9th grade. He did all the illustrations for it. It's super cool. I bought it on Amazon.
Last year we helped her like add stuff in it. Like we helped choose the adventures.
Oh, that's so
She
fresh.
didn't tell us how it was gonna be because she wanted it to be a surprise.
Well, you can buy it now. It's on Amazon. I just bought it. It just came yesterday. What's it called? Hold on, let me go get it. It's called Twisted Trinkets #1, Magical Marbles. It looks like that, and that's all Jacob Fowler's little stuff. He's the best artist. Yeah, I like, when I was little, man, I loved Choose Your Own Adventure book. They're my favorite. Pretty cool. I haven't started reading it yet, though. I wonder where Zach is. He usually comes late, but not quite this late. Jackson Turner, do you do a lot worse on Spanish words? There's Zach. Than you do on the classic tales? Jackson Turner? Yeah, I figured. Hey, Zach. Look at Zach's bed hair today. You sleepy, but all right. So, Zach, you can just wait and do your warm-ups at the end because they're just about finished. Okay. All right. So go to Google Classroom. Jackson got a 94 and a 67 today. Yeah. Your fingers are tired. It's been a long weekend. All right. So I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna read over what I have for you guys today. Putting grades in Power School. All right. So this week, more spreadsheets. Happy. We just did our warm up. Make sure, Zach, you hadn't heard this yet, but make sure once you do your warm ups, put them in sheet 2. So we're working on quarter 2 for your warm ups now. All right. So open up your shopping spree review project, the Google Sheet, and the instructions. You already have them saved in Google Drive. We're going to try to finalize them today, and we're going to, if you do get a chance to turn them in, I will go ahead and look at it, make sure your numbers are right, and if there's anything I want you to fix, I'll send it back to you, okay? So if you finish both the instructions and the shopping spree spreadsheet, then you can go ahead and turn them into Google Classroom. Once you finish today, you turn them into Google Classroom. Like I said, if you have any extra time, then you can add this project that we just did to your ePortfolio. And I would just add the sheet. I wouldn't put the instructions, but make sure when you do, if you want to do a screenshot and put it in, then just make sure that you add like a really detailed description of what we did to the shopping spree. And then, hold that thought. And then if you have any other time after that, you can go back to your keyboarding tracker and find the average of your first quarter words per minute and the time, because that'll be the next thing that we do once we finish this review. We are going to start intro to advanced spreadsheets. Probably not at the end of class today. It will probably be next class period, like maybe midway through next class on Wednesday. So that's our schedule for this week. So before y'all get started, even if you think you're close to being finished, that's you, Baby Holmes, anybody, I just want y'all to watch me kind of go through this the first few formulas really quickly, just so you can make sure that you're doing it right. So if you just want to watch me and have yours pulled up so you can see, I just want to make sure everybody's on the right path before you get going further into the instructions, okay? So I just want everybody to watch me do these formulas. Make sure that your numbers look sort of like mine before you keep going through to the end, okay? All right, so I'm not gonna go through the instructions. I'm just gonna write the formulas. Y'all know what's in column A, what's in column B. I'm not gonna go through that with you. So I'm gonna start with the very first formula. I think that was like question number 8 or whatever. So we worked on this on Friday, but I'm just gonna show you how I do it so you'll see what the numbers are and how to write your formulas. I will be able to check if you've written your formulas or not. So if you're just typing numbers in here, you will not get credit. This has to be a formula, right? So in D2, so if everybody's just watching me right now, if I'm gonna write a formula, I would put my equal sign in first. Then I would click on B2 and then shift 8 for my asterisk, which means multiply. And then I would click on C2. So my very first formula, and this is really the only one that you need to write for this one, is equals B2 times C2. When I hit enter, I get 249.99, obviously, because it's multiplied by itself. It's 1 times 249.99. If I went in and changed this to 7, it would change that number. So 7 times 249.99 is 1,749.93. But that's not what you have. You have a 1 there, okay? But you want to have a formula here, so that way when you change these quantities and do things to it, this number will change automatically. All right, so that's your first formula. I can see this formula. When I click in D2, hold on, let me look and see if somebody's asking me something. I would really appreciate it if you weren't. Thank you, Michael Holmes. If you're not asking a question, don't chat because it's taking up space and it's taking up my time for me to go in there and click it, all right? All right, so everybody's just watching me right now. All right, so I can see when I click in D2. So if you click in D2 and you look in the formula bar right here, it should say equals B2 times C2. If it doesn't, I'm not going to give you credit, all right? Now, you only have to write this formula one time. And all of this is a review. Y'all have done this before. We're going to copy this formula down. That way, you only have to do it once, and it will change for each row. So right now, I've written B2 times C2, but when I copy it down, it will change to B3 times C3, B4 times C4. To make that happen, when you are clicked in where this formula is, there's a little tiny black box in the corner right there. So I'm in D2, and there's a tiny little box in the corner. If I click on that box, you can see my mouse changes to a cross. When I click on that and drag it down, it copies that formula for me, and I only have to write it once. So now you can click in all these other cells and see there's a formula up here, but it's changed relative to what row it is. So I didn't type B4 times C4, I typed B2 times C2. But when I copied it down, it changes each time to the different row that it should go with. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time, Roger. All right, so here, let me get rid of all that real quick. Just gonna get rid of all those. In D2, I write my equal sign, and I'm gonna multiply B2. So I just clicked on B2, asterisk, C2. So B equals B2 times C2 is my formula. I hit enter. Then I go back into that cell. I can see the formula at the top. And then I click on that tiny little black box and drag that formula down. And it automatically does that formula for me on all the other rows. Anybody else got a question about that? Yes, that's all you have to do is copy it down. All right, the next one that I want to show you is how to do a function. A function is different than writing a formula. You wrote a formula for this one and copied it down. You did your equal sign and all that good stuff. For the subtotal, we're just going to add all these up. I could write a formula. I could do equals D2 plus D3 plus D4 plus D5, but that would take too long. And what if there were thousands of rows? I wouldn't want to do that. So I'm going to use my function. So to insert a function, I need to be in the cell where it should go, which is D13. I'm going to go to insert and function. All the functions I'm going to use today are up at the top because those are the most widely used. So I'm going to click on sum. And when I do that, then I only want it to add up D2 through D11. So I just highlight that, all of those numbers. I click in the first one, and then I drag it down. So now, and you could write this if you wanted to. You don't have to necessarily click on the sum button. If you were to write this out, it would be equals sum, parentheses, D2 through is your colon, and then D11, close your parentheses. Or you just click on the sum function, hit enter. It adds them all up. All right, I'm gonna do that one more time. All right, so I click in cell D13. I go to insert function, sum. I highlight all of those numbers, I select all of them. And you can see it says sum D2 through D11, hit enter. So your number right here, if you've only gotten through to this first part and you haven't changed any of your quantities yet, this number should be 5,309.87. All right, the next one is 7% sales tax. So if you go to the store to buy a pair of pants and they're $19.99, you don't pay $19.99, you pay like $21.42 or something because you have to pay tax on them. So we're gonna do a percentage of this total to find the tax. So in cell D14, I'm going to write a formula that says equals, click on D13, which is my subtotal, and multiply it by 0.07. 0.07 is 7%. Hit enter. My tax will be $371.69. So the final total, I have to add these two together to find the final total. So you take your subtotal plus your sales tax. You could do a sum function here if you wanted to, but there's only two. So I'm just going to write a formula in D15 equals subtotal, and then I'm going to do my plus sign plus D14. Add those two together, and your final total should be $5,681.56. Okay. I'm going to show you one more formula, and then I'm going to let y'all go. And if you missed any of these, you can go back and fix it, and then you'll be right for the next ones. The next thing I think it tells you to do is to insert a row so you can add your beginning budget. So I'm going to click on number 1 because that's where I want my new row to go. Insert row above. And I think it tells you to type the words beginning budget here. And the first budget they give you is $10,000. Okay, I can go in and change this to currency. I just click in that cell where I just typed 10,000 and hit the $sign up at the top. I can also change all of these numbers to currency because they're all money, they're all prices. And then it says you are going to write a formula to find out how much money you have left over. So I'm going to go right here to put money left over. I'm in cell C18 when I do that. So now I'm going to go to D18 and I am going to write a formula to find out how much money I have left over. So in this cell, D18, I'm going to put an equal sign. So my beginning budget was 10,000. I'm going to click on the 10,000 right here. And then I'm going to subtract my final total that I found, which was $5,681, and hit enter. So that formula is B1 minus D16. So the money left over for the first half of this before you change your quantities is $4,318.44. All right, so that's basically just the first half of that project. So I just want to make sure everybody's on the right page before you start changing some of these numbers. Don't forget, while you're doing this, you want to go in and write down all these formulas on the instructions. So every time it asks for an instruction, in the instructions, what did you put in this cell? You're going to look in that cell and see what formula you wrote and write that down. Type that on your paper. All right, I know that was a lot of information, but again, this is a review, so that's why I'm working pretty quick. And then once you get to this point, I think it asks you what your money left over is here. And then after that, you start going into changing your quantities and things like that. All right, I'm gonna leave this up so you guys can see it. And you may have, yeah, like SLC just said, you might have a different formula depending on where you type, like money left over. Your formula might be different. Like mine was B1 minus D16. Yours might be D17 or, you know, whatever. So it could be different. Final total, you add up what these two numbers are. So hopefully yours are in the same spot. All right. Anybody got any questions so far? Money left over, Roger, is just your beginning budget, which should be in cell B1 minus your final total. So for me, that's B1 minus D16. All right, anybody got any questions? All right, you were supposed to insert a, Roger, you're supposed to insert a row. I just did that, and it also tells you to do that whenever you are in your instructions. Before you do the money left over, you have to insert a row on row 1 right here. And then in A1, it tells you to type beginning budget, and B1, it tells you to type 10,000. So even though I'm showing y'all how to do these right now, make sure you're still following your instructions because you have to do those in order. All right, SLC, I'm gonna look at my computer over here. You can do any chart that you want to, but I can pull yours up and look at it. But all you're doing for your chart, SLC, is you're highlighting just item description and quantity. And then you can do any chart that you want. You can do a pie chart, column chart, any of those really work for that one. Zoom out just a little bit. Yes, and make sure that you follow those instructions in order. Because you don't want to, if you skip something, and maybe, you know, like with Roger, he needed an extra row in there before he did that. So just make sure you go in order on those. And then if you do finish, like I know Baby Homes might be done, make sure you've answered all the things on your instructions because there are some questions at the end too. Make sure you answer all that before you turn it in. And you turn them in separately. There's 2 different ways to turn them in. So one is the actual Google Sheet and one's for the instructions. And then once you're done, I have on Google Classroom what you can do after that. But everybody else, if you have any questions, just let me know. You can put the chart on your spreadsheets fine. Yeah. And once you guys start turning them in, I'll start looking at your final numbers. What's Microsoft Excel? Excel is what we would be using, Daniel, if we were in class. That's the one that you used when you were with me last year. It's just the spreadsheet software that's on my computers in my classroom. It's basically the same as Google Sheets, just better. But yeah, once y'all turn them in, I can check your numbers and make sure they're right. And if they're not, I'll send it back to you. Baby Homes, I already have there in Google Classroom. I just read it to you of what you're supposed to do next while I'm checking your information after you turn it in. So you're turning in your instructions and your Google Sheet. There's 2 different places for each one. And then once you turn them in, I will check to make sure everything looks right. If it doesn't, I'll send it back to you and let you know. And then in Google Classroom, it tells you exactly what you do next if you finish and you turn it in. So go back and read that. All right, but if any of the rest of y'all, if you're those of you that are still working, if you have any questions, just yell at me or type them. I lost somebody. All right, Rollison, highlight just, you can highlight the words item description and quantity, and then highlight all the rest of that information right there. So that's all they're asking for is those 2 columns to go in your chart. And then once you highlight those 2, then you're going to go to insert and chart. All right, so I've got Daniel's and Baby Holmes. All right, Daniel, yours is so close. Daniel, your last formula right there, the beginning budget minus final total, it should be B1 minus D16, and you've got B1 minus D14. So you just actually clicked on the subtotal instead of the final total. I'm gonna send it back to you real quick so you can just fix that last formula. And then SLC, let me look at yours. Yeah, your number looks right. SLC, yours is good. Did you make your chart already? Oh, I see it happen. Yeah, looks good. All right, Jackson. All right, Jackson Turner, yours looks good too. See anybody else have theirs turned in? Hey, buddy. Allison, yours looks good. That's good, Baby Holmes. SLC, who's at my house? Did you highlight the item description and quantity, those words when you did your chart? Because if you didn't, you can't, if you highlight those, then it will put that as your title, I think. If you don't, you should be able to go in and add like a text box, I think, and it'll put the title in for you. I mean, then you can type the title in, but if you highlight those words, it should give you a title. Daniel, you don't have the instructions? They should be in your Google Drive. If not, I think you can just click on them. Can you not click on the one that I sent already again? Because I think it'll just make you another copy.
Access.
Okay, well hit request and then I'll do that. You'll probably send me an email. Look at Gmail, it looks funky. Did you turn it in already? Is that why it's doing that? I bet it is.
I
Let me
think
go
it
back. Okay, I'll just go back and send it back to you. All right, I just hit return, so it should be there. You might have to hit. Okay. And again, once you turn it in, I mean, if there's something that I see that's not right, I'll just send it back to you and let you know what it is. So if you do work on this for homework or something, then I can, when I check it, I won't grade based off of that. I'll let you know if you're missing anything. All right, let me look at it. Daniel, let me look at it. Yes, SLC, yours looks good. Yep, that's it, Daniel. Perfect. Roger, if it doesn't say quantity or item description on there, then you should just be able to add a text box, I'm pretty sure, and add it in there. I think there's even a spot on your charts where it'll say add title. Yeah, in Sheets. But if you highlight those titles, item description and quantity, it should make a title for you without you having to put one in. And the title can be anywhere. It can, sometimes I'll put it at the bottom, sometimes it's on the side, sometimes it's at the top. And if you don't like the chart, once you make it, I mean, when you click on it, if you just hit delete on your keyboard, it goes off and you can just make a new one. Yeah, you just leave that stuff blank because we're not printing it. Yeah, normally I would have you print it and staple it and all that stuff. We're not doing that, so you don't have to do that. All right, Roger, hold on, let me show you. All right, so right here, when you make your chart, Roger, start with the words item description and go across to quantity and then highlight all of that. So you'll have this whole box right here selected. And then all you have to do is go to insert and chart. And when you make it, it'll give you a title automatically because you have those, if you have these headings highlighted, it'll know what you're talking about in each column and it'll go ahead and make you a title. That's the easiest way to do it. Yeah, don't do that. Make the chart right there in your spreadsheet. Let me see what happens when I make one. My chart's supposed to come up in here with me. So you have three little dots that come up. If your title doesn't come up, the three little dots come up in the corner. And you can edit it. You can move it to another sheet. There's all kinds of options. But when you edit, you should be able to type. Yeah, because the title just comes up as chart. That's not what I want. Let me try to play around with that and see if I can find the easiest way where we can get it, because if we could put it on the side, that would be better. It's not blocking our numbers. Okay, thanks. All right, so if you do get to turn yours in, if you do get to turn yours in today, I will check it. If there's anything that looks off, I will send it back to you and let you know what it is. And then pretty much it looks like everybody's pretty close to finishing. I have about half of y'all that are turned in. So if you want to work on it for homework and you send it to me, I will, and turn it in, I will check it and let you know if there's anything wrong with it. But we will finish this up on Wednesday, and then we're going to start our intro to advanced spreadsheets on Wednesday. All right, that's all I got for y'all today. Y'all did good. I'll let y'all work if you want to keep working. We still have about 3 minutes, but I'll go ahead and end it. And when y'all turn them in, I will check them. All right. Peace out. Bye, y'all. See you Wednesday.